everybody. Welcome to Squad Pod Sports, where we bring you our thoughts on the latest games and news around the sports world. Have a really big episode this week. Special guest is host of the Locked On Raiders podcast, ESPN Central Texas, Raider Nation Radio 920, and you can also find him on Twitter at your boy Q254. Special guest, your boy Q, man. Thank you for being on. We really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. I got tired just listening to all those damn jobs I got, man. I got tired.
You're busy. You've been a busy guy.
Yeah, I was like, man, I did all that, huh? Damn, I did. But yeah, man, it's all good, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah,
No
absolutely. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any time given is appreciated. We really do.
Absolutely. No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
So you have been doing this for quite a while, man. So why don't you kind of give us a rundown of like how you got started and what your latest projects have been?
Well, it's funny, man, how I got started. I've always had a radio background going back to 99, just a music background. And I've always been a Raider fan. And so what happened is when the Raiders were really good and they went to the Super Bowl, and obviously they ended up losing to Tampa Bay and John Gruden, there was nobody, and I was from California at the time. I was living in Cali. Nobody was talking about the Raiders, and I would watch SportsCenter and ESPN, and I'm like, why is this team so damn good, but yet nobody's talking about them? So it used to bother me, man. It used to drive me crazy, and so I'd always tell the homeboys, like, hey, man, if I ever get a chance to do something and be on some kind of outlet, or if I have an opportunity to represent, I'm going to talk about the Raiders, even though nobody else is, and everyone's just like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, fast forward, I got an opportunity to be on ESPN Central Texas after I moved to Texas, and it was cool. And, in Texas, we're talking Cowboys, we're talking Texans, we're talking, the Mavericks, we're talking Spurs, we're talking Rockets. We're not talking about the Raiders at that time, the Oakland Raiders. But I said I was going to represent, so I did. Anytime I had an opportunity to throw the Raiders into the conversation, I would do it. And it was always funny because, now everyone knows me like, hey, that's Q. He's a big-time Raider fan, but he'll tell it how it is, be real about it. See, that's the difference. It's like it's one thing to fan out, and it's another thing just to be honest about it, but still give a breakdown of your team. And so that's kind of what I started doing. And then I had a dude named James Arcelana from Oakland, California, who just happened to hit me up on Twitter, or kind of reached out on Twitter in general and just said, hey, is anyone out there kind of want to do a Raider podcast? I'm thinking about getting into it. And so right then, to me, it clicked. I was like, oh, boom, I can do that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I was like, there it is. And I had never done a podcast before. So I said, well, let me jump on with James. And so we did it. And it was, it got the ball rolling. And it was good. And we still do it to this day, only like once a week, or sometimes we'll skip a week or so. But, it's never made any money or anything. It's just been one of those things we did as fans of the team, but honest fans of the team. And so that turned into, that went from Black Hole Banner podcast to Locked On Raiders podcast to Silver and Black Today to Raider Nation Radio 920 to, on Sunday I was in Las Vegas in Allegiant Stadium covering the Chiefs and Raiders games. Like,
wow.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's wild, man. So, we were talking before the show started. If you grind it and you believe in it, man, you can do it. So if anyone's living proof, that's me, man. So keep the hustle going, keep the grind going.
Absolutely,
yeah, man. That story is really great. Like you did everything right. It sounds like you found the perfect idea, like for the market. Like nobody talking about the Raiders. It seemed like you kind of went about everything the right way, because it seems like Raiders fans as a whole aren't really like the most outspoken of fan bases. Like you don't really see Raiders fans all the time. Like I only know one Raiders fan, and that's Vern's dad.
Right.
So,
but he's devoted. He's been a Raiders fan since I was born.
Yeah.
No matter what. Every
exactly.
year.
So it's great, man. You tapped into that market.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Raider fans are so loyal to their team through thick and thin, and there's so many generations of Raider fans that have never seen them win. You think about it. Honestly, me, man, I'm 44 years old, and the last time they won a Super Bowl, it was '83. I was 7. You know what I mean? So it's like, how invested was I at 7 years old? I couldn't even lie to you and say that I was locked in and that was my favorite team. Like I was trying to figure out where I was going to get my next snack from or whatever. I wasn't worried about them. So but the crazy thing is that there is Raider fans everywhere. It's one of the largest fan bases. They're worldwide, So I find them in Texas. I find them in Vegas. I find them in the Bay. I just find them everywhere.
Absolutely.
And it's great, man. It's awesome. And then I've seen, and this is just me from a guy who does these shows on the daily, I've seen it grow to the point where so many people have a podcast out now about the Raiders. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, is that competition for you? And I'm like, no, man, I don't care, man. Like, we all have our own angles. We all do our own thing. And the more, the better, man, because this, again, going back to the original reason why I ever did it to begin with, there was no coverage of the team. So now there's extra coverage, and there's more coverage, and there's people that are doing podcasts all over the place. And so it's great, man. I just love seeing it grow and feeling like I was like a part of that thing. So it's awesome.
That's awesome. You're kind of at the forefront of like the Raiders movement.
Right.
And to add on to what you're saying, like my situation was kind of the reverse of yours, where you were saying you watched the Raiders win the Super Bowl at 7. I grew up a Philly fan, so I mean I've seen us in the Super Bowl, and unfortunately I've never. A couple years ago was the first time we won, of course, but I mean I recently got to see the Super Bowl, and you know my whole life we were there against the Pats before, you know, but I mean who knows how long it's going to be until we're there again. So I mean.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of the opposite of your situation, but I mean, that's awesome, man. That's kind of great that you're at the forefront of that Raiders movement. We'll kind of talk about Raiders here a little bit with you. How do you feel about Derek Carr as like your franchise QB going forward?
Well, I think he's been a guy that everyone questioned for multiple years, especially after John Gruden came back in 2018. Everyone thought, oh, he's not going to be the guy. He's not going to get along with Gruden. He's not going to be able to handle the way that Gruden treats him or talks to him or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that there was some question. I think there was some validity to that for a quick second. But this year, man, if you see what Derek Carr is really doing this year, not only with his arm, but his brain, man, his understanding of the offense, his understanding of what to do with the line of scrimmage, that's the kind of the nuts and bolts that I really look at and really just say, okay, this dude gets it. I mean, he'll get to the line of scrimmage and he'll call out the tight end's name and say, hey, you know, come to me, you know, meaning basically I need you to, you know, come in motion short and fast. And you know, he's calling out everything. So he totally understands John Gruden's offense. As far as his play, man, he's using his legs, which is something I've been begging him to do for years. He's athletic enough to do it. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not going to run around the field and just, you know, tear you up like Kyler Murray or any of those cats. But he's mobile enough. He's athletic enough to pick up a 3rd and 3. If there's no wide receiver there, he can run and pick it up. 3rd and 5, He can run and pick it up. And you have to be able to do that. If you can't do that, man, you're a sitting duck and you're basically a target practice. And so that's what he was for a couple of years after he broke his ankle in 2016. And so now all of a sudden it's confidence, it's understanding. He knows that he has the back of John Gruden. John Gruden's got his back. So I absolutely believe that Derek Carr is the franchise guy, no doubt about it. He's playing some of the best ball of his life right now.
Yeah.
And the Raiders and their fan base, man, they're excited about what he's doing and the movement that he's making and the direction he's taking the team. So, yeah, Derek Carr is definitely the guy, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it seemed like this is the perfect time for him to be doing what he's doing, you know, because, I mean, over the past couple of years, there was always the question of, like, what is Derek Carr's ceiling? Like, you haven't really seen, like, have we seen the best of what he could do? And, of course, what you're saying is, like, the past year or so, there was a lot of, like, you know how the media is. They were saying there was a lot of tension between him and Gruden. Maybe they didn't get along. They brought Mariota in. They weren't really sure on what was going to happen. There was a lot of rumors about, like, oh, Derek Carr is only the guy as of right now. But, I mean, from what you're saying, like, and what we're seeing on the field, he's playing amazing football right now. And we've talked about on the podcast before how the Raiders are just, like, so quietly good right now. Nobody's talking about them, and it's
of course
like,
nobody's talking about them. Just like
they're talking about them now. They're talking about them now. I mean, they didn't win that game, and there's no moral victories on Sunday, but they took the Chiefs, the Super Bowl champs, to the wire on national TV.
Yeah, and I mean they beat them earlier this year too.
Exactly. So yeah, they're being talked about now because they're opening some eyes, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I was wondering too, like, if you see that result of that game now, you're 1-1 with the Chiefs being their only loss on the season. You see them in the playoffs as a 7th seed, and they're a 2 because Pittsburgh gets the 1. That's another first round matchup. That would be, I would love to see round 3, see who comes out of that game. It could be a great upset in the first round where the Raiders squeak through, and then next thing you know, you're matched up with Pittsburgh. I could see them winning that game as well.
I could see the Raiders beating Pittsburgh.
Next thing you know,
the thing about it is the Raiders' offense is not one that any team really wants to play, and I'm not saying that as like a disrespectful way to any other team, but the way that they score points and the way that they conduct their offense is something that is really good for the playoff run. You grind it out on the ground. You got that heavy run game with Josh Jacobs. You got it with Devontae Booker. You got that offensive line that blocks downhill. You got, guys, that works in any kind of weather. It doesn't matter if it's cold in Pittsburgh, cold in Kansas City, cold in Cleveland. That travels. And then you got, Derek Carr, who's a surgeon right now, so he's able to make the passes that he needs to, and he has weapons around him. So right now, I mean, without sounding, cocky or too ahead of myself, the offense is really one that teams don't really want to deal with right now. Now, the defense, that's a whole nother story. But the offense is right up there with the best of them in the league right now.
Right. I completely agree.
And to kind of talk about, like, going off of what you're saying about the offense, you guys got a lot of decent players, like you're saying. I just kind of want to know your thoughts on, like, Henry Ruggs and Josh Jacobs, and even like the acquisition of Nelson Aguilar, who's turned out to be kind of a bright spot on the team this year for you guys.
He's been a great spot on the team, and I thought he wasn't even a guy who was going to make it out of training camp. When they signed him, I thought he was just a training camp body. I saw how he left Philadelphia, how they weren't happy with his drops that he had, and Eagle fans, well, just ripped the hell out of him. And, and deservingly so. But he found a new life in Las Vegas, and Derek Carr really trusts him, man. He goes to him all the time.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it.
Yeah, so he trusts them. They got a good chemistry going along with each other. Henry Ruggs is a guy that I think, because Nelson's playing so well, that Henry Ruggs is kind of coming along a little slower than expected, because he's expected to be that speedster. He's expected to stretch the field and everything. But Nelson Aguilar got like six or seven touchdowns on the season for the Raiders right now. He leads the team.
You know what
I mean? So it's like, well, okay, I guess you got this hotshot young dude, but you might as well roll with Nelly while Nelly's getting it done. And so, and that's, and I knew when they had a nickname for him, I was like, wait a minute, they're serious about this guy. They got a nickname for him. You don't get a nickname if you're a bum, unless that's your nickname, bum. So it's pretty interesting, man. But they definitely got a nice chemistry between Carr and Nelson Aguilar. And the rest of the offense, man, they're just really good weapons. Ruggs, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. I mentioned Josh Jacobs and Devontae Booker, that offensive line. I mean, it all starts in the trenches, man. If you have time to throw the ball and you have open lanes to run the ball, you have an opportunity to win games. And that's what the Raiders are doing right now.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I definitely predicted before, like, whenever Aguilar was released, I definitely predicted him going somewhere else and thriving. I knew it was going to happen. I remember talking to Vernon about it before. It's like, no matter where he goes, I know they're gonna get the most out of him. I just think it was like what you were saying. I think it was the Philly fans and a lot of the pressure kind of beating down on him week after week. I think it was a little too much to handle at that point. Because Philly's rough for players. If you don't have thick skin, you're not going to make it in Philly. But you can go ahead, Vern. You got another question?
Yeah, I was just wondering. I know you cover a lot of Dallas, or at least used to, as far as like being in Texas. What do you think about this? Is kind of getting out of the AFC there. What do you think about the NFC East? Who wins that division?
That division stinks.
It does. It really does.
That division is terrible, man. That's an awful division. I picked Philly to win it early in the season, but they're not very good. I mean, they're clearly not very good. They got questions at quarterback, and on top of that, they got a quarterback that's making a whole lot of money that you're questioning right now. So Carson Wentz is a question. Jalen Hurts is not the guy right now. I don't know if he's going to be the guy. He's not ready to be the dude. There's a lot of injuries in Philly. I don't know what the hell's going on with Philadelphia. Washington is a mess. I mean, they have a good defensive front, but they have an absolute mess the rest of the way. I just like the fact that Alex Smith is playing, because we all know what he came back from. So
he's playing great.
We've been talking about that here, yeah.
That's really cool. He'll be comeback player of the year. I like that. And then there's the Cowboys, and you have no idea what Cowboy team you're going to see week to week. 1 week it's like, okay, they're playing really good. Next week they stink. They're awful. Obviously, when Dak Prescott went down, that was major, but they're just not a very good team either. So whatever team wins the NFC East is actually going to host a playoff game, which is a joke, but they're going to host.
It's just crazy to me.
I agree.
And then they're going to be one and done. So I mean, it's just as simple as that. I don't see anybody in the NFC East making a run in the playoffs. I just don't.
I was curious, because of like your Cowboys background, like what you thought, especially them coming off that win. I know CeeDee Lamb is probably my favorite part about that team right now, just
Yeah.
because he's so athletic. Like seeing him make that turning catch, like it was amazing to see. And like I'm really I don't really have any affiliation with the Cowboys, but I'm just like really hoping to see him turn into something great. I like his style, just same with all these rookie wide receivers. So I like to keep an eye on them,
Yeah, no, he's a stud, man. He's an absolute stud. He was a guy that I had no idea what the Raiders were going to do in the draft. I knew that they needed a number one wide receiver, and I thought that CeeDee Lamb was going to be the guy they picked at number 12. They had an option at CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, or Henry Ruggs. They went with the speedster, and CeeDee Lamb is just balling out of control. And I get it. Henry Ruggs' speed is special, man. You can't teach that speed, but man, I'll tell you, I know a lot of Raider fans are thinking, how come Henry Ruggs ain't getting the targets that CeeDee Lamb's getting? How come he's not doing the production that CeeDee Lamb's having? CeeDee Lamb was a fun player at Oklahoma, and he's a real fun player with the Cowboys, man. He's a bright spot to the point, and this is just me spitballing, but this is to the point of where I think that Amari Cooper might be expendable this offseason. I think that they might try to make a move and trade that him contract. Somewhere. Move that contract and move him.
And then pay Dak.
His production's not what it should be when they need it. I mean, it's great week 1 and week 2 when they're playing in Jerry's world, but week 15 when they're playing in Philly in the cold, he's not that guy. He shrivels up. He's just not the dude. And so I think they probably are going to have a little buyer's remorse with that contract. And now that CeeDee Lamb's playing so good and they got Michael Gallup as well, I don't think they need to hold on to Coop. I think that they could use him for trade bait and try to make sure that they solidify that contract for Dak next this offseason and then just go into the draft and work on some other pieces for that offense. But I mean, they got guys that can score. They don't really need Amari Cooper out there. So I just think, this is me personally, I think that he's going to be
very good point.
It does make a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, as far as the NFC East goes, of course I had Philly a couple weeks ago winning it, but I mean, as of right now, I think the most complete team, I know they're all have 3 wins, but I think the most complete team as of right now is the Giants. It seems like they kind of have everything figured out in a way. It seems like they had some momentum on their side here going into that bye week this past week. I mean, it hurt me even putting an Eagles jersey on today, let alone I had to put a Cunningham jersey on, not a current jersey. As far I couldn't put myself through putting on a current jersey. It's embarrassing at this point. But I mean, as far as going back to the Raiders, is there anything with Gruden, is there anything that you've really liked out of him since he came to Las Vegas? And is there anything really that you dislike that he's done the past couple years?
I mean, I don't think anyone was a fan of him trading Khalil Mack.
Yeah, definitely got some flack for that.
I think we obviously get it. And if you look at what the Raiders were able to get from the trade of Khalil Mack with the draft picks, getting to Josh Jacobs, getting to Jonathan Abram, getting to Damon Arnett, freeing up a lot of cap space. I mean, they look, it's one of those things that you don't like to make those tough decisions, but he came in and he had a plan. He said, hey, I'm going to tear this thing all the way down to the nuts and bolts. And as a fan, not as a guy covering the team, but as a fan, I'm thinking, man, the team is closer than that. You don't really need to tear them all the way down. You just need to make some tweaks here and there. But he felt like they needed to tear the team all the way down. So he did that. And, it is what it is. But you see now the young guys, the hungry guys on the squad, the guys that are still on rookie contracts, and you see it's all starting to pay off. So now you start to see the big picture. You're like, okay, I get what he was doing, even though, again, a lot of people don't like it. But it is what it is. I think one of the best things he did, though, was also hire Mike Mayock, bring him away from NFL Network and bring him in as their general manager. And I just think that Mike Mayock is a really good talent evaluator. Obviously, everyone who's ever watched the NFL and cares about the draft has seen him on NFL Network talk about these players. And no GM's going to hit 100% all the time. I mean, it's just not possible. But, to have a guy that has a good idea of what he's looking for, that's good. And then to know that John Gruden never had a real good history when it came to drafting players. He just never had a really good track record. So I think that they balance each other out really well. He respects Mayock, Mayock respects him, but they could challenge each other. If Mayock sees something Gruden's doing, he can say, hey, man, that's not right. And Gruden will challenge him back, and they'll go back and forth. Whereas when Reggie McKenzie was the GM, John Gruden's like, you ain't nobody. That the end-all be-alls were, with me. It's what I say, and so that's all that really matters. So
more of a mutual respect.
Yeah, exactly. So but I mean, just to be honest, I'm a big John Gruden fan anyway. I always wanted him to return to the sidelines for the Raiders. So when he came back in 2018, I was thrilled, and now it's starting to pay off. A lot of people kind of questioned it and laughed at it. oh, he's got a 10-year, $100 million contract, whatever. But now you're starting to see what exactly he brings to the table. He cares about, everyone can't be, that's the other thing. Everyone can't be a Raiders head coach. It's something different. You're cut from a different cloth. It's not, you just can't go in and be on the sidelines for the Raiders. You got to have a special bond with the team. You got to know about the team history. Yeah, you got to be a different dude. And that's exactly what John Gruden is. He's just cut differently. So I can definitely respect that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that 10-year deal, it whenever they announced that, it seemed to me like he kind of went to him and he gave him a plan of like, this is what I'm going to do. Right. This is all the steps that it's going to take. And they gave him like, all right, here's 10 years that like, if you think that you can build a championship team within that time, have at it. And I mean, the first, like what you're saying, everybody was kind of skeptical of the Khalil Mack trade. And like, you could try to get Amari Cooper. Right. And it's like, you got to break a couple eggs and make an omelet, man. You got you got to build a nice team around, like, you got to get some draft picks and kind of move forward with that. But I mean, it seems like even over the past couple years, he's built quite the team. I mean, what you said, the defense is a little shaky here and there, but I mean, that's something you can definitely add on to over the next year or so. That'll make you guys even better if you can hold that offense to the way it is going forward.
Absolutely. And I think they're headed in the right direction. I think that they showed that Sunday night on national TV.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you can hold your own against the Chiefs twice, like that definitely means something.
Yep. Agreed.
You got anything, Vern?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to hold you for too long here. Just had like maybe one more question from me. Just what would be your unbiased Super Bowl prediction going forward here? Sitting here at week 12.
Ooh,
what do you think?
It is a little early still, but what do you got?
But what do you think?
You can kind of see the movers and shakers. Man, that's a really good question, especially if you look at the NFC side of things. Like I look at the Packers and say they're a team that could be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I look at a team in the NFC West. I see Seattle. I think their defense is going to bite them too many times.
Definitely.
I don't think Arizona's quite ready there. The Rams are playing good ball. I mean, you just saw them on Monday Night Football. They're playing some really good ball.
That defense, man.
I guess in the NFC, I would probably go. The Saints always find a way to lose, so I think
they always choke some way in the playoffs.
Yeah, so I think either Green Bay or Seattle will get it. No, Green Bay or the Rams. I'm sorry, Green Bay or the Rams.
Green Bay or the Rams.
Yeah, will represent in the NFC.
Okay.
And then the AFC, I would have to say is still. I mean, the Chiefs are still the cream of the crop. They're still the best team in the AFC. I think Baltimore's been figured out. I think Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is really, really good. They're playing some damn good ball. They're not going to go undefeated, though. They're going to take a loss here and there. They probably rather get it out of the way now than get it out of the way in the wrong time in the playoffs. But at some point, they're going to take a loss. So, I would say that the Chiefs and Steelers are probably the best two teams in the AFC. And then I'd say that in the NFC, it's either the Rams or the Packers right now. But it's still early.
Interesting.
Okay.
It's late November.
Right.
Yeah, my only worry about the Packers is just like that run defense is just not great at all. Like teams seem like they do their best run game against the Packers. Like it happened last year in the playoffs. It's already happened this year a couple times. Like it seems like that's the kryptonite to the Packers is like the run game. So I mean, and it seems like the Seattle defense is all around bad. So it's not even just a run game; it's the whole defense.
Yep.
They can't stop anybody.
Yeah, and as far as like Tampa Bay Gronkaneers, you never know what team you're gonna get each week with them. Like 1 week they're balling, they have it figured out, and like what we saw last night, Tom Brady's throwing 2 picks.
And Bruce Arians is throwing them under the bus in the press conference again. Just, every time they lose, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I could kind of say the same with the Rams. I mean, the Rams are like, I don't know.
Up and down.
They're up and down. They're
I think a little more consistently up though, this season at least.
Yeah.
They're playing good ball right now. They're playing good ball right now.
Yeah, they're playing at the right time. Yeah, exactly. Precisely. And I mean, it seems like there's more of a question mark around the NFC than the AFC at this point. Like, who knows? But I mean, it seems like the AFC is like the Chiefs, Steelers, and possibly Oakland. I mean, not Oakland, Las Vegas. I keep wanting to say Oakland.
Well, they got
But,
to shore up some things. Their run defense, well, their defense in general is not very good right now. I mean, they got to get better in that defense if they're going to win in late December and early January. They got to have a stronger defense. So they have an opportunity. Their offense can run with anybody in the league. That's what I do know. But it all depends on how much can the defense stop. If the defense can come up with some stops, they'll win games. You know, honestly, they should have won that game Sunday night. They came up short. Their defense allowed Patrick Mahomes, who's a great quarterback, but to get down the field, you know, and score a touchdown when you can't give up a touchdown in that situation. So championship teams find ways to close the door, and they didn't find a way to close the door on Sunday night, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, man. Before we let you go, I just got one little question for you. It's not really like football related. I just want to know if you have any advice to any smaller podcasters or any kind of people trying to get into the sports world of like broadcasting or reporting, like us in a way. If you have any advice to kind of give to anybody.
Yeah, man, you're never a smaller podcast, man. You're not. You know, don't ever go into it like you're a smaller podcast. Go into it like you can hold your own with anybody. And all you have to do is just continue to grind and continue to work. And when someone tells you that you can't, you tell them that you can, and you show them that you can. And don't worry about it. Keep your head down and keep busting your tail, and you'll be just fine. And, you know, all you got to do, and this is the thing, put your all into every single show, because it could be that one throwaway show that you do that someone who can change your life listens to. So, you know, if you're going to put you know what I'm saying? If you're going to put your name or you're going to put your voice on something, make sure you come in with, you know, with your guns blazing, because again, I mean, like, someone could listen to this podcast and be like, I don't know why Q wasn't on his A game or something, you know, and that wouldn't be right to you guys, and it would be me disrespecting my own name. So if I'm going to jump on and be on anyone's show, or if I'm going to put some work out, it's going to be my best at all times, because I never know who's going to listen. And that's, I mean, I could go on for hours about how many blessings I've got since doing these podcasts. It's unbelievable. So just put your all into it every day, and it'll be rewarded at some point. So there you go.
Absolutely, man.
That's great, man.
Really appreciate that. Like,
yeah, man.
It just because, like, we really want to do this. This is more like we talk all the time off camera, obviously, about, like, imagine doing this as a job, waking up every morning and doing this. Like, that is the goal. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's just and people like you, like, are really inspiring, you know, because I know, like you were saying about your whole, like, since the 90s, man, like, you've been just working, and like you said, it's like you got tired listening to all the different jobs listed there. Like, that's inspiring. It's motivating. I just appreciate you even giving us the time of day, man.
Yeah, man. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you reaching out. I'm glad we were able to make this work, man.
No problem, man. Hopefully we can have you on again sometime, because it was a really good conversation with you, man.
Okay, you let me know, man. I got your back. I'm here.
All
definitely,
right.
man.
Thank you very much.
Definitely,
man.
Special thanks to your boy Q. Check him out on Locked On Raiders podcast, ESPN Central Texas, Raider Nation Radio 920, and also at your boy Q254 on Twitter. Thank you very much, man. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. You guys keep up doing the great work, man. I appreciate y'all.
Once again, special thanks to your boy Q for hopping on here with us. That was a great interview. We learned a lot from him, talking about the Raiders a lot. But we are going to get into the meat and potatoes of what we here at Squad Pod Sports do. But before we do that, we have a really special announcement. We have a partnership now with the Journey with the Jays network. They're the ones that bring you the Journey with the Jays podcast, the Pundits Pundit, and Perched Gridiron podcast. We're really excited about joining their network and a lot of what's to come here in the future, man. It's really exciting times.
Absolutely. Go check all of their channels out, all of their pages. They're out there putting out great news.
Definitely.
It's great. It's great
check
to be a part of that.
On Twitter. They're looking to build. We're having a website built here, hopefully within the next 6 months to a year. And then, going from there. So big things are going to be happening here in the future. So stay tuned for that. But we are going to get into what we normally do here weekly. The Week 11 breakdown that just happened. We did horrible this week.
Overall, our records are great. This last week, do not judge us by. Please, do not judge us by this last week. It was so bad. If you're
tuning in, go look at our past episodes, because we did great on those. This one, we didn't do great at all. We'll get into our Week 12 predictions. We always do our predictions for the week. Some injuries happened within the NBA and NFL here past 2
Big
weeks.
ones.
This past week, so huge ones. So we'll talk about them and a lot of NBA free agency signings and trades happening, even since the last week when we reported on a bunch of them.
Right.
So we'll also talk about that as well as the college football rankings that came out, which are really exciting. Go Buckeyes.
You already know I should put that jersey up on the wall back there or something. Just
Absolutely. So we'll just hop right into it, man. The Thursday night game was a good one. The Cardinals and the Seahawks.
Hey, we both picked Arizona in this one.
We did.
I really thought Arizona was going to pull it out just because of how Seattle's been playing lately.
Yeah.
But Russ did it, Russ did what
you never know what kind of team. I mean, Russ pretty much has to win the game for him. That offense has to win the game for him every week. So, right. I mean, you don't know if they're going to be able to do it every single week. So, I mean, that was my first week I really kind of bet against the Seahawks. And, of course, it bites me in the ass. And I'm going to pick them probably this week, and they're going to lose.
No, I don't think they're going to lose this week. We'll see.
I don't think so either. I hope they lose. Believe me, I hope they lose.
Oh, you play. Oh, we'll get to that. But
we'll get to that. I hope they lose. But anyway, it was a good game, man. It came down to the wire.
Hey, Kyler Murray is still doing what he needed to. He just couldn't do enough. I still trust Kyler Murray, man. The same way I trust Russ. I'd love to see what Kyler Murray's doing out there. He's running around just playing great football. And the thing is, like, it's getting to the point where I'm not even really thinking about his size anymore. Just like because I'm kind of trusted it. It's just he's one of the young quarterbacks. I'm super excited to just continue watching as the years go.
Yeah, agreed. The Cardinals, I'm not worried about them. I'm more worried about the Seahawks still.
Even with the victory.
Even with the victory, I'm still more worried about the Seahawks than I am the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals. I didn't necessarily think the Cardinals are going to win a Super Bowl or anything this year, but it's more of a building year with the team to go into next year. Because next year, that could be their shot. You never know. Make some additions. I guess we'll talk about this game.
Next up, hey, we both.
The goddamn Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns. I can't be mad because I picked the Browns. You picked the Browns. I can't be that mad because I picked them, but I'm furious because nothing has changed yet again. It is, oh my God.
Carson had
I'm
that
out of words.
ugly
out of words.
Turnover, man.
I'm out of words.
I just want to know, like, at this point, is it Carson? Carson's not helping necessarily, but you can't put Jalen Hurts in. You can't do that. It's not going to help at all.
If anybody follows me on Twitter, I did address this momentarily. I said the only reason Philadelphia should start Hurts is to prove to the fan base that it's not the QB that's at fault right now. It's the it's the whole team. It's the coaching. It's the offensive line. Carson Wentz has been sacked 40 times this year.
God damn. Bro.
The most in the NFL. Sacked 40 times. The second most sacked person is Joe Burrow, and he just got hurt. So that's another discussion. The only reason I would put Hurts in is so Carson doesn't get hurt because he's getting sacked 40 times within 11 games.
Because you want to actually probably still work with him for next year.
Yeah,
but it's not like I don't realistically see you guys moving on from Carson at the end of this year, no matter what happens.
Carson's not going anywhere.
But
and
it brings the question
to answer your question. Carson has a problem. There is a problem with Carson, but it's not a problem I don't think that can be fixed. I think the problem arises from the coaching. I think whoever is coaching him is not doing a great job, is not maybe being strict enough with him, is not saying, like, I don't know, it's just not motivating him. And at this point in the season, I think there's so much turmoil on that team. I think that's not helping anymore either,
Right.
But it's not all on Carson, and that's a lot of things.
I don't think it's all on Carson either.
And that's what everybody's getting misconstrued, especially on Twitter. Like, Twitter is such a, it's a great place and such a terrible place because people are calling for Carson's head, blaming the whole team struggles on one man is ridiculous. Yes, he does have his faults. He shouldn't be throwing interceptions. He tries to play hero ball and forces it and makes terrible turnovers. I get that. Carson has his faults. He's playing terrible right now. But the O-line has had its 10th and 11th lineup change.
Oh my god.
Of this, there's been 11 different lineup changes for the O-line this season, and Jason Kelce missed 4 snaps, the most in 4 years. It looked pretty bad. He had to come back in with a robot arm. But it's terrible, man. I don't think it's going to change this season. It's
still
I don't know.
End up
at this
with
point,
the
I am
division
fine.
lead there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't want the division lead. I'd rather have a good draft pick at this point.
Yeah.
At this point,
That's
to be
kinda how I
honest,
feel.
let the Giants or whatever have it. I don't give a fuck. Give us a good draft pick. Hopefully, Howie Roseman's gone, so he won't waste the draft pick. I don't know. We'll talk about that in the bias bubble. We'll move on. I'm ready. Too much.
We'll see.
The Browns. I'm not scared of the Browns.
I think they're good enough to get to like 10 wins, but I don't see them getting past the Chiefs or the Steelers in the playoffs. You know,
I'm just not scared of the Browns. Their offense, they have a really good run game.
right?
But I mean, Baker Mayfield made a lot of questionable passes. Almost got picked like 3 times.
And Garrett's going to be out again next week.
He had a fumble technically, but someone didn't challenge the damn play. But I don't know. If the Browns are definitely probably going to the playoffs, it seems. So I mean, that's
what I mean.
But they're going to get bounced by whoever they play.
I don't see them beating the Chiefs or the Steelers. There's just no way. Like the Steelers defense is way too good for that offense. I just keep thinking back to that Texans game where they had 10 points for 3 quarters. That's not going to beat the Steelers. That's not going to beat the Chiefs. That's not going to beat the Titans. So once they get to the playoffs, they're going to be burnt toast. But until then, they'll probably at least get to the playoffs. You know?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Next
you don't get a decent draft pick.
Next up,
Saints of the Falcons.
Taysom
Hill,
man.
There was a lot of controversy surrounding the game, whether Taysom Hill or Jameis was going to start. And we talked about it last week, how we said that Sean Payton said before the season, Taysom Hill's our guy once Drew retires.
Right.
And then they had Jameis come in whenever Drew was out. So it was kind of up in the air who was going to start. And
I saw in an interview, though, apparently at the beginning of the season, Sean Payton was asked whether or not, who would be the starter if anything were to happen to Drew Brees. And he said, if it's in the middle of the game, Jameis is going to come in. And if we have a whole week to prepare, it's going to be Taysom Hill. So apparently he answered this question weeks ago.
So I was doing some investigative reporting here, because I didn't see that. You already knew the answers.
I'm just saying, so at that point, I see Taysom Hill go forward with this organization, especially if he could cover CYA these next couple of weeks while Drew Brees is out. It'll be nice to see what happens next year. Drew Brees retires, Taysom Hill takes over. Let's see what happens. You still got Michael Thomas, still got Kamara. It could be crazy. It could be a whole different type of crazy, But I just don't. It's almost like Tebow. I don't necessarily trust his throwing arm. He did have 233, but he didn't have any passing touchdowns. He had 2 rushing. So we'll see how that turns out. The Falcons still the Falcons.
Not look good, man. I thought they were going to at least be able to put up some points, with that offense, but nope. 9.
Nope. 9 points. There you go.
The next game, man, it was sad. The Bengals and the Washington No Names. The No Names, they came out with the dub. I
love that you just call them the No Names. It's just too funny. I'm sorry.
It's looking like it's going to stay like that. So
permanently no names.
Looking like there's going to be the permanent no names. So I'm not going to call them the football team. That's just dumb.
No, that's dumb. They're all football teams.
They're all football teams.
The no names.
But yeah, Joe Burrow, man, he tore his ACL, his MCL, and apparently destroyed a part of his knee. So it was a lot worse than feared. They thought it was just going to be an ACL injury. So I mean, the timetable for that is going to be even longer. He's going to have a long road to recovery.
Right. It was nice to see all the Reds
almost said the R word. The no-name players.
The no-name players come over and just show
like
respect.
Chase Young.
You know, he's like that. He's a Buckeye. You know, even though he went to LSU after, he's a Buckeye. You know, so it was really nice to see that.
It was, man. Yeah, it really sucks to see, especially him having the year he was having.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really terrible to see someone go out like that. Actually, while we're on the subject, I do have the list of all the ACL injuries of this season so far. NFL players coming back from torn ACLs next year. From this year, Joe Burrow, Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr., Nick Bosa, Tariq Cohen, Devin Bush, Cortland Sutton, Taylor Lewin, and Bruce Irvin.
Oh my God!
That is such a heartbreaking list. Like, so many talented players, you know, getting hurt like that. You know, that's not an injury to be messed around with. Like, that's a serious injury.
The thing about the snapped legs this year. There's been more snapped legs this year than I think I've ever seen in 1 year. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, why is it happening so often? These players are too big, too fast, too strong nowadays. It's ridiculous.
A lot of people blame it on the turf, possibly. I know the NFL was having a meeting about possibly putting actual grass fields back again.
Imagine a 300-pound lineman snapping your leg. You look down and your leg
literally just sticks into the ground, like your foot's stuck with your cleats. Like, I can't imagine how painful that is, man. Like, that's super scary. But that's football, baby. And
then imagine being the backup that comes in to replace that guy.
Yeah, you just saw that happen, and then you're like, oh, great. Now I'm having 300-pound people run at me and try to destroy me.
I think about that sometimes when I see quarterbacks take mega hits, like big hits where they fall.
Speaking of Joe Burrow, I remember whenever the Eagles played the Bengals, and I think it was Josh Sweat or possibly Brandon Graham that put a hit on Joe Burrow where his head was disconnected from his body. I don't know if you remember that, bro. He hit him so hard, and he went out a couple plays and came back in. But those kind of hits, he took one. It was not long before he got hurt in that game. I think it was Chase Young hit him as he was running towards the end zone. I don't know if you saw that play or not, but he got clobbered. But
he fumbled.
Yeah, exactly. But he got hit so hard, man. And then you expect somebody not used to playing comes oh, okay, I'll try not to get killed.
But next up, we got
the Lions and the Panthers. Not good for old Matty Patricia.
0 points. First time they were shut out since 2009, I think they said.
To a backup QB on the Panthers.
No, maybe it was sooner than that, but since maybe 2000. I know it's been a little bit since they were shut out. It's surprising to hear.
Backup QB on the Panthers.
Hey, PJ Walker is the man. He was balling in the XFL, man. He was balling.
His seat's getting hotter. It's starting to heat up a little bit.
He's like, oh shit. He's got that pencil in his ear. He's, oh shit. About to turn his hat backwards like Ash Ketchum.
Have to start looking for a defensive coordinator job here after this year.
Ain't much to say about that game.
Panthers, I mean, they're looking to have Bridgewater and McCaff back this coming week, so that's good news for them. I mean, so they kind of already have some momentum going into getting those guys back, which should help.
Right.
But yeah, there's really not much else to say about that. The Steelers and the Jaguars went about as well as we thought it was going to go.
Hey, when I turned this game on, it was 3-0. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
I was like,
because then it was somehow 3-0. Then it was somehow 10-0, and then it was 17-0. I was 17-3.
I was like, oh my god. Well,
yeah.
I guess I'm turning this off. But Steelers marching along 10-0. Q was saying, like, I could see them catching a couple L's throughout the season here, but they're looking strong going into the playoffs. No matter how much we talk crap on them, like they're looking real strong going into the playoffs here.
Agreed. The next one here was a really good game. The Titans and the Ravens.
Overtime game.
Came down to the wire.
Blankenship coming in.
Knuckleball game.
This was a knuckleball game for sure. And it's like he was saying, it's exposing the Ravens week by week.
We've talked about this numerous times since even before the season started about how we thought the Ravens were possibly going to get figured out. And I mean, it's really looking like that. I mean, even Lamar said a couple weeks ago that like defenses are calling out their plays before they happen.
Exactly.
And I mean, there was even some drama before the game started between like the coaches and the players.
Sitting there arguing. I think it was Malcolm Butler, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Malcolm Butler and then Harbaugh.
And Harbaugh mouthing off to each other and everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was already some tension going into the game.
If the Ravens make the playoffs, they might see each other in the playoffs at some point. But that's a mighty if. Yeah,
and then it was a really good game. It came down to a Derek Henry breakaway touchdown to win the game. And then there was also some saltiness at the end where I guess Harbaugh refused to shake Vrabel's hand.
For real?
Oh, you didn't see that video?
Oh,
yeah, it was like Vrabel started walking towards Harbaugh in the middle of the thing, and like Harbaugh just like picked his hand up and walked away or whatever. Like he didn't like shake his hand or anything.
Man. Hey,
so I mean, it's like a little salty.
That's some Tom Brady shit.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But the next game, man, the Patriots and Texans. I thought you guys were gonna come back and win this game, man.
My boys were trying everything they could to win this game. I love the gameplay at the beginning of the game. It was great. It was creative. It was awesome. But one thing that I'm kind of irritated about is they had like 88 yards rushing, and coming in this game they were averaging like 130, 140 a game, something like that. And I'm just like, what? Like, it's frustrating. Cam had a great game. I mean, he didn't have any turnovers or anything. Let me see. Yeah. He ended up with 365 and a touchdown. Yeah. And he had, I think, about like
26
like 30,
40.
Right. Like he had a great game, but it just we couldn't put it together at the end. That defense is nowhere near as good as it has been in previous years. So
yeah.
But it's also a lot of younger players, you know, that are just kind of trying to fill into the system right now, where we got a lot of injuries, where we got new faces, more or less. Like, just because, like Bill was saying, you got cap issues. We've been to 4 Super Bowls over the last how many years? Like, we got problems right now. We're dealing with it. But
I remember you sending me a text. I think it was before or during the game, saying like, if you lose this game, it's over, or whatever.
And we lost 4-6. The last time they lost 6 games was 2009. Okay, it's the last time, and they made the playoffs that year, but also lost in the wild card. So like, I don't see us winning out, especially because we play Arizona next week. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
and then after Arizona, the Chargers. And then the Rams, Miami, Buffalo. Like, it's going to get real ugly for New England.
But I mean, I feel you, man. And I'm kind of glad you're kind of in my boat, too, where we're both just like, except yours, like, even though you have one more win, you guys as a team look like a team. You look more well-rounded as a team, somewhat game in and game out than the Eagles. The Eagles just are a mess all around.
Pretty much week. In every game. The only team that really like laid it on us was the Chiefs in the second half. We were hanging with them there. And then
I mean, you've held your own against the Seahawks. You've held your own against other squads too.
Against everybody except for everybody. The 49ers blew us out.
Yeah.
They wrecked us.
And somehow the Eagles beat the 49ers. I don't understand it.
It is what it is.
I don't understand it at all.
So in theory, the Eagles are actually better than the Patriots, even though the Patriots
I didn't say that.
It's better.
I didn't say that.
That's like numbers flying around in my head.
No, if the Patriots played the Eagles right now, the Patriots would win, no doubt. No doubt in my mind.
I hope they run the ball.
The next game is the Dolphins and the Broncos, and I felt like a damn fool because I went on Twitter and I said, hey, everybody, what's your locks for the week? My lock is the Dolphins winning against the Broncos. And look who's the fool. Me. Tua got fooled in the third quarter.
That's why they lost this game, because of that. God.
But Tua ended up making picks publicly.
I can't believe it. Like, it's just, did he do it because he wanted to just, like, keep him healthy? Did he want to just try something different? Like, I don't understand.
He said he was trying to give the team kind of a boost. He wanted to kind of put Fitzmagic in there to kind of boost the team. He did bench Tua because of the play. He wanted Tua to know. He kind of wanted to make an example. Like, you play bad, you're sitting.
Right.
And he kind of wanted to give a boost by putting Fitzmagic in. And
he almost did it. He almost had that touchdown. He threw that interception real late.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Tua was playing too bad. I mean, he wasn't playing great. But, I mean,
I
feel like that's a game that you kind of got to let them figure it out. You kind of got to let them experience those type of games.
That's why it was surprising to me. Exactly. It was a little surprising, but I could see him trying to utilize the Fitzmagic. It makes sense.
You got it. You got to utilize it.
You got to try, at least. And it almost worked, so.
It's like you have Nick Foles on the bench. Maybe put Nick Foles in, try to save the game.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. You gotta at least try.
Yeah, you gotta try it. I feel like if it wasn't Fitzmagic on the bench, he would have been in and trying to figure it out. But he's already named Tua the starter next week.
Exactly. He did that after the game.
Yeah, and I'm sure it had something to do with, like, he wanted to try to get another dub. He wanted to kind of extend the lead in the division, or kind of make the team the record a little better in a way. The next one here is the Chargers and the Jets. Jets are 0-10. I don't know how Adam Gase keeps a job after this season, but for some reason I have it in the back of my mind that somehow he's going to be here next year coaching this team.
If he is, then the Jets deserve to go 0-16 this year and next year.
I know, but I have just a sneaking suspicion that Gase is going to be around next year.
That's
the
so
Chargers looking good as usual. Herbert out here balling.
He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year, man.
It's looking like it, especially with Burrow out.
Right. Shit, I didn't even think about that, but Herbert has been killing it.
Yeah, he had 366 yards and 3 touchdowns, bro. He went 37 of 49. Like, for a rookie, I saw something today about he's on pace to break a rookie, like a Ben Roethlisberger type record for a rookie quarterback. So
I'd like to see him do it. I like to see young quarterbacks balling out like that. It's nice to see.
Yeah.
Hope he continues it.
They're all around playing decent football. Balaj, he had like 44 yards. He had an all right game. I scooped him in fantasy. But yeah,
Keenan Allen was 16 receptions.
Yeah. Jeez. That's crazy. Jets doing Jets things, Chargers, you're doing Chargers things.
Right.
The next game was quite the wild one. Went to OT, the Packers and the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, I think we both picked the Packers, man.
Oh man, I accidentally said something about Blankenship earlier on the Ravens and the Titans game, and you said something about Derek Carr getting that game-winning touchdown. I was like, oh yeah, it completely. This is the game when Blankenship came in, and like it was amazing just to see that whole turn of events with Scanley and fumbling, and then like it was like, wow, like it all happened so quick. Like I like that Colts defense, man. You were talking about him last week.
Yeah, that Colts defense, and my dumbass. I played them, but the Packers did score 31 on them, so they didn't do that well. The Saints did a lot better on my bench, unfortunately. But that defense
it was Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It was Aaron Rodgers. So
exactly.
And they ended up beating him. So I would take it. It is a lot of points to give up, though. because you got to rely on Phillip Rivers putting up that much then.
Yeah, so I mean that also goes back to what we said about the Packers is like they're a great team overall, but I mean that defense is going to be the thing that holds them back.
Like Seattle.
Yeah, it's like Seattle. They're not as bad as Seattle, but I mean it seems like Aaron Rodgers is in the same position as Russ each week, where like you got to sling it and get touchdowns to win the game.
Right.
Like you're just gonna have to outscore the other team.
Next up here.
Cowboys and Vikings.
Uh-huh.
The Cowgirls somehow got a dub. They caught a dub somehow against the Vikings.
Won this game, man.
And I think it was because Mike McCarthy went out there and smashed watermelons with Dalvin Cook's face on it in front of the team. Did you hear about that?
No.
You didn't hear about that? It actually happened. Apparently, I think it was the night before the game or the day of. Mike McCarthy had watermelons with, I think, Dalvin Cook's face and some other Minnesota Vikings face on it. And he took a sledgehammer and smashed him like Gallagher to get the frustrations out. And I guess it riled up the team enough to get a dub. But, I mean, that was an odd little thing for Mike McCarthy to do. Yeah.
Very interesting.
But, I mean, it worked, I guess. The Vikings are showing what the Vikings are in real life.
Thielen had 2 touchdowns, but I heard he's on the COVID list now, right?
Yeah, I think it was like a day after the game they put him on the COVID list.
Dalvin Cook balled out too, but they couldn't hang.
I mean, Kirk balled out though. He didn't have any interceptions. He had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He only had 8 incompletions.
Yeah, so I mean, Kirk balled.
Another team.
Dalvin Cook had 115 yards, like what you said. Yeah, Thielen, like that whole Viking squad. Like, look at that. Thielen, Cook, and Cousins all had crazy games.
That defense just lit it up.
Yeah,
at the end there.
The next one here, the Chiefs and the Raiders. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
This was
with our special guest. But yeah, great game. The Chiefs, you give Chiefs that much time at the end of the game, it's over.
Unfortunately,
that's Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, Kelsey, just like clockwork, make it look easy.
He gave the ball back with time.
Yeah, it's like they're playing Madden out here. Like how they're like Kelsey. I think he was wide open in that end zone, man.
Right
on that last play.
I think Las Vegas definitely a bright spot. Like they're gonna be just fine.
Like what we were saying earlier, that loss shouldn't be taken as a loss. That was like, take that as like you guys can hold your own against the Chiefs. You could probably beat anybody in the league.
Yeah, I could see them like just rolling the rest of the season here. Like they're saying, like 10, 11 wins, finish the season, hopefully make the playoffs there as a 7th seed or a 6th seed, and just see what you can do from there.
Yeah, absolutely. The Monday night game we kind of talked about earlier with our guests as well. The Rams and the Buccaneers. Old Tampa Bay Gronkaneers, old Tom, man, he's showing his age a little bit. He's been throwing a lot of picks this year.
Did he have 3 picks that game?
2, I believe.
2 picks?
2 picks.
Man.
2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Oh, Tom Brady.
Jared Goff also had 2 picks as well.
He had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, did have 3 touchdowns.
He started off that game a lot better. Like Cooper Kupp had 100 yards in like the first half. He was balling.
Yeah. And
then they just kind of slowed down, but they still ended up coming out with the win there. Buccaneers still have 7-4 record even with this loss. So,
yeah, I mean the Rams, they're 7-3. Their defense is really good. I mean that offense is what seems to kind of either they're good, they can hold their own, or they kind of sputter, for the Rams. It's kind of on and off. That defense is pretty decent every week.
Right.
It's just that offense is like, you never know. Jared Goff seems like he has some turnovers. He has a problem with like fumbling and turnovers as well. Not on like a Carson Wentz level, but it's an issue. But I mean, if Jared Goff can keep it under control, more than likely they're going to come out with a W, it seems. Right.
They could be a sneaky good team in that NFC playoffs if they end up making it.
Exactly. You never know. Maybe another trip back to the Super Bowl.
Right. That's the games for last week. We ended up
game.
5-9 each because we each had the same. So it was real bad last week for us. Our overall records on the season, Wyatt he broke 100. He's 101-61. I am I am 99-63. 2 games behind you still. Hopefully I catch you this week. We'll see what happens. And now I think all the buys are out of the way. So we have Yep. So we have 2 extra games each week now. I think we got 16 games every week. So we're going to be having a couple extra picks now. So we just kind of like get through them.
Yeah, especially starting with like where we'll kind of get into it. This Thanksgiving Day, man.
Yeah.
Don't have a lot of good football. Got 3 games all day. The Texans and the Lions is the first one up here. Should be an all right game to start. I'm glad they put that there at the 12:30 spot. That's a good one to get out of the way.
Wake up in the morning and start watching that. Okay, cool. But I'm going to go with Houston in this one.
I'm also going to go with Houston. They are the 3-point favorites. The Lions, even though they do have one more win, I just think Texans are an all-around better squad at this point. Lions are just so like the island of misfit toys.
They're trending in opposite directions right now.
Exactly.
The Texans they just beat the Patriots. They're rolling a little bit. The Lions just got blanked. So I'm rolling with Houston on that one. Next up,
Houston. This next one, I have no idea on. It could go either way, to be honest. The Washington No Names and the Cowboys.
I am not breaking my pack. I am not picking the
Cowboys.
I'm picking Dallas in this one. And that's strictly why, because I do think Alex Smith has been balling lately, and he's probably gonna have him in this game, if not win it.
I'm going to
I'll go
be the devil's advocate. I'm gonna pick
Dallas.
the No Names.
Okay.
Just because.
See how that works for you. We'll see how that works out for you.
Hey, we'll see. They both have the same record, so I think they're both evenly matched.
Yeah.
The next one, man. The Ravens and the Steelers.
This is going to be a great game, man.
I don't know. I mean, the Ravens are going to be missing Dobbins. They're going to be missing Ingram. They're going to be missing, I think, there's one of their starting linemen.
Right.
Due to COVID, they're put on the COVID list. I don't know how this game's going to be
As hard as it is to beat a team twice, I think they kind of lined up like you just listed all the reasons. There's so much that goes into the Ravens losing this game. The Steelers are hot right now. If you don't come out on full strength, I don't see you even standing a chance.
Exactly.
You know, I got to roll with Pittsburgh on this one.
I'm going to pick Pittsburgh as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a safe pick at this point. I mean, I don't think anybody thought the Ravens would be sitting at 6-4 right now.
No, I thought they'd be sitting there 8-2, 7-3 even maybe, but like definitely a lot better than that.
I think they've lost like 3 of the last 4 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me, something like that.
Another team they've been sliding in the wrong direction.
Yeah. So I got the Steelers in that one.
Then we got Sunday football.
Yes, sir. The Raiders and the Falcons are kicking it off.
I'm rolling with Las Vegas in this one.
Las Vegas, gotta go with them on that one.
Like Q was saying, like they're that offense, man. It's all around so good, and I think Darren Waller honestly is probably like the second best tight end in the league, only behind Kelsey. He's so underrated, man. He is.
You don't hear much about him.
You don't. You really don't. But like he's a beast, man. Every time I see him, he looks like LeBron James out there. It's crazy. Who do you got in that one?
The Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely got the Raiders in that one. The Falcons are terrible right now.
Yeah, this ain't their year, man.
Next one should be an interesting game. The Chargers and the Bills. The Bills have a 5.5 point advantage. It looks like here. They're the favorites.
I'm gonna roll with Buffalo as well as Herbert's been playing. I think Buffalo is trying to get back on track to the team they were at the beginning of the season, and they can't lose a game like this. So they're going to be pulling out all the stops type of thing to make sure they win this game here. I'm going to roll with Buffalo. Herbert's still going to ball, but that defense is nice. That Bills defense is nice.
Yeah, I think I'm picking Buffalo as well. That just seems like the safe bet.
Right.
The next one here is the Giants and the Bengals. I got the Giants in this one.
Yeah, if Burrow was in the game, it might be a little bit harder to pick the Giants, but it's pretty easy. I don't even, to be honest with you, know who the Bengals starting quarterback next week is going to be.
Yeah.
Is it AJ McCarron? Is he still? I don't even think he's still.
It shouldn't be the way he looked.
I don't know.
That game.
Is that who it is?
I don't know.
It
doesn't say here.
I don't even know who their quarterback is next week.
I don't know if it's been announced
in
yet.
the comments. Let us know.
But yeah, I mean, like we kind of talked about, I brought up earlier, the Giants, it seems like they're the best. I mean, Dallas kind of had a really good game against the Vikings, but who knows how long that'll last. Yeah. I think the Giants all around have been more consistent the past couple games.
Yeah.
They actually have game plans. It seems like all the players are bought in.
They know who they are.
Yeah, I mean, I picked them to win this game, and I think they're going to win the NFC East, man.
Let's see what happens.
The next one is the Titans and the Colts.
Ooh.
I'm picking the Colts.
Yeah, I was going to say, even with Tennessee coming off that victory.
7-3.
The Colts are trying to prove themselves now.
Let's take a moment to reflect on, this is probably the best year Phillip Rivers has had in a while. As far as he's 7-3, he's looking to be on a good team finally.
He's only got 14 touchdowns on the season so far, but he's having
may not be statistically himself the best season, but I'm saying as being on a decent team wise.
He's in a great position.
Exactly.
So we'll see how that goes.
And the Titans have been kind of iffy with me lately.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm picking Indy though.
Yeah, definitely got Indy. The next one is the Panthers and the Vikings. Interesting. Vikings are 4-point favorites.
Even with Teddy and McCaff coming back.
Yeah.
And then they don't have Thielen. I'm rolling with Carolina in this one for the upset. If they have Minnesota as the favorites, I'm going to roll with Carolina in that game. Because I think they come back pretty strong. You saw what happened. Even with the whole offense balling out last week, they couldn't beat the Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got the Panthers. I've been prone to pick the Panthers this year.
Yeah. And he'll at least cover that 4-point spread.
Yeah.
Teddy always covers spread.
Yeah, unless Dalvin Cook has a crazy game, as always. But the next one is the Cardinals and the Pats. Cardinals are 2.5 point favorites.
I'm rolling with unfortunately I'm rolling with Arizona in this one.
Yep.
This is a game that I think Arizona needs to win to stay competitive in their own division. And if they obviously I don't think the Patriots are going to try to lose, but I think Arizona's a little more hungry right now. They're sadly more experienced. Oh man, it's tough. How do you survive this? What every year? Why? I don't understand
it. Hey, not every year. Not every year. We've been in playoffs the past 3 years.
It's tough. I know people probably just think I'm a spoiled Patriots fan. I am, but it's tough. It's tough.
It's tough. Believe me, I'm in the same boat right now, so I know how it is.
Who do you got?
Cardinals.
Gotcha.
Cardinals.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think the Pats are gonna give them a good game though. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout or anything.
But we couldn't really contain Deshaun Watson, and Kyler Murray's gonna. They got the blueprint for how to beat us just from last week. So yeah, Kyler Murray's gonna take advantage of that defense.
Definitely. The next one we got here is the Dolphins and the Jets. The 0-10 Jets.
Sorry, New York. 0-11 is coming your way. Miami is a 7-point favorite in this one. Whole touchdown. Yeah. Even with Miami flopping last week, they're gonna
hammer
pull
the Dolphins.
Out. Oh God.
I'm doing it again.
Next up, we got Cleveland and Jacksonville.
Cleveland's a 7-point favorites on them as well. Yeah, I mean, I got Cleveland in this one.
Yeah, Jaguars, this is pretty easy.
They stink.
I don't know how the Jags got to win. I think they beat the Texans somehow earlier.
It was the first game of the season. Yeah.
No, because they They
They
played
beat somebody the first game of the season.
Who did they? It doesn't matter, but I don't know how they got that win. Next up,
the Saints and the Broncos.
Broncos been playing surprising football lately. Drew Lock's been doing his thing, but I got the Saints. I think they roll. The Taysom Hill project's just gonna get better and better.
Definitely got them as well. So that's
got a team coming off a bye.
49ers and the
healthier
Rams.
They are.
Not much.
I'm still picking the Rams in this one.
Same
they
here.
Seem to be a team trending in the right direction here.
Yep. Got the Rams there. Next one could be a possible Super Bowl matchup.
Big game.
Chiefs and the Buccaneers. This one should probably be the primetime game.
This should be, but it's okay. It'll still be televised, I'm sure.
I got the Chiefs, man.
I got the Chiefs too. The Buccaneers have not proved that they could hang with these elite teams. They lost to the Saints, and now last week
Bears.
Yeah, they lost to the Bears. Who they just played last week? Monday night, the Rams. They're losing to teams that are obviously good teams. So I don't trust them against the Chiefs. No way. Picking Kansas City all day in this one.
Agreed. Chiefs are going to be 10-1 after that week.
Yep.
Next one is a division game, Bears and the Packers.
What you think?
I mean, even with that Bears defense, I got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting them.
They're not going to lose 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Especially when this is your second opponent here.
The Bears don't even know who's going to be their starting QB right now.
Yeah. They're coming off a bye too, so we'll see. But I got the Packers in that one as well.
Nice.
Then,
and I guess we'll talk about the damn Monday night game this week. The Seahawks and the Eagles. Seattle is 6-point favorites. I expected it to be higher. The only positive I have to say about this Eagles right now is that they are 3-0 in primetime games this year. All three of their wins have come in primetime.
Okay.
So, I'm still picking the Seahawks.
Me too.
I'm still picking the Seahawks.
Me too.
I don't care how bad the Seattle defense is. That Seattle offense is going to slaughter the Eagles. Even listen. Even if the Seahawks score only 14 points this game, Eagles are still going to lose.
It'll be like 9-14 or something because you'll get 3 field goals.
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't trust this. Listen, the Eagles defense is so hit and miss. I trust the defense way more than the offense.
Yeah.
Like at this point, this offense is terrible. The past 2 weeks, it seems like they get out to good starts, and then everything about what made the good starts great, they just abandoned. So I mean, it's in disarray right now. There's no way possible I could pick the Eagles to win this game.
We'll see how that goes. I'm picking Seattle for sure, though. Even like you were saying, they could score 14 points potentially and still win this game. So
yeah, I mean,
same with the. That's no slight to like the same with the Cardinals. The Cardinals could possibly score 14 points and win that game against the Patriots.
I felt the same about like against the Browns. If the Browns put 14 up on us, which they did. I mean, I thought it was over because I didn't think that offense had any way of moving down the field and scoring a touchdown at all.
They were forced to.
Yeah, they were forced to. And I mean, of course, the one that even made it that close at the end was garbage time touchdown. So, I mean.
Right. It was kind of like disappointing seeing that because like I saw that and he just like none of them even celebrated. They're just like he called the touchdown and just.
Yeah.
I was like, man, damn. Like, because when I saw the replay, I didn't see the score, so I wasn't sure. But it was kind of like a context clue of when that touchdown happened.
Yeah,
just by his body language there. Yeah. But yeah, that's our picks for Week 12 coming up.
Yeah, a lot of games, like as you saw, a ton of games on Sunday, so that should keep everybody busy. Go out and make some damn 15-game parlays or something wild.
Speaking of that, man, I hit it wasn't that big, but
I saw you got a good one.
A 10 leg parlay.
Yeah.
I bet $1 on it. It was on the Chiefs game, and I hit. It was like $140 It was like help for Christmas presents.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
definitely.
saying? It definitely shit, get that FanDuel sponsorship, baby. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But like,
possibly down the
I'll
line.
just
I mean, we tell you go play some FanDuel because that's where it's at.
man, it's obviously if you're 21, and we're not going to be sitting here
And
telling you to
if
do
it's
any
legal in your
gambling.
state, if it's
Right.
registered in your state.
Exactly. I'm not trying to get any trouble, anything, nothing like that. Like, but like,
Yeah.
it's definitely it's cool. It's cool. We're both obviously of age. We're
Yeah.
way over. But let's keep going here.
Yeah, we'll
We
talk
had
about some NBA here. We got a lot of news.
a huge injury. Klay Thompson
Out for the year, man.
Sucks,
Happened during
man.
practice. 2 years in a row that this has happened where he's just going to miss a full season.
Sucks.
It really does suck, man. You hate to see that. Golden State was primed to have a decent year, like coming off of like probably the worst year in quite a while for him.
They're ready to have a nice bounce back year.
Yeah, I mean they got Wiggins over there. Steph's healthy. Yeah, I mean it's definitely disheartening, man. You hate to see that a dude with such talent go down like that.
Right, and that just begs the question of like how hard will Steph have to ball for them to be where they need to be? You know, where you expect them to be, or where it's competing with a Lakers or a Clippers. You know.
Yeah, I mean, unless they make some crazy signing or something, I don't see them like. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete, you know, with some of the top teams in the West. But we'll see. I mean,
what if he comes out and breaks another record for three-pointers or something?
He could.
He's just
he's been in the lab this whole time, just working on his shot.
Just putting him up. Like, imagine he's just nasty from three for even his standards.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that Klay just brings not only an amazing shooting and scoring ability, but Klay has lockdown defense on pretty much anybody he covers, and I think that's a big part of the Warriors.
They're gonna get outscored.
Yeah. So
if he doesn't put up 33s a game.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's very iffy. They're definitely gonna be better than last year.
Right.
I mean, that's
not
really saying much, but
a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, it's a good topic to bring up. I mean, we'll kind of talk about it a little bit more once the season starts or preseason starts to kind of see where the team's at, what they're kind of looking like through the first couple games.
Right. There was a lot of huge contract signings and free agent signings and all types of trades.
There's so many here. I mean, Brandon Ingram signed a 5-year deal, I think today.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sticking around. Bam signed a 5-year deal with the Heat. So I mean, he balled out. I mean, unfortunately, he had that injury there in the finals.
Him and Goran re-signed, so they got both of them back.
Yeah, and they also added Avery Bradley. He's on the Heat now. So I mean, that's a really good signing.
That's okay
for them.
He still gets a ring
here. DeMarcus Cousins signed with the Rockets on a 1-year deal, which was interesting. I mean, if he can stay healthy.
But I don't see them doing much because like we expect Russ and Harden to be moved. But that was interesting. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Marc Gasol goes to your Lakers. You get the other Gasol brother.
Got our
Schroeder. We've already talked about Schroeder going there.
The Lakers ended up losing McGee and Howard, so it was nice to see Marc Gasol come in. But Schroeder
where
also.
Where did McGee go? He got traded.
We traded him to Cleveland.
Yep. Yeah, and Howard went to the Sixers.
Yep.
He signed a 1-year deal there.
Also,
Jason Tatum signed a 5-year extension with the Celtics, so he's there. So with Donovan Mitchell. So I mean, a lot of these huge young stars on teams are solidifying themselves as part of the team for the future now.
Making the team's free agent destinations potentially in the future. Like, look, I'm here. I'm like, come play, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Serge Ibaka, he signed with the Clippers. What else? Tristan Thompson left the Cavaliers. He's a Celtic now. I mean,
yeah, that's interesting.
That was really weird. I was not expecting to see him leave there. Gordon Hayward signed with the Hornets, which was interesting.
He got a nice contract.
Yeah, that was quite the contract. I was not
Michael
expecting
Jordan
that.
throwing money around right now.
Apparently, man. Another couple here is Steve Adams. Steven Adams went to the Pelicans.
Interesting.
And Ness Canner went to the
They're
Trailblazers.
They're gonna be nice this year. The Pelicans, man, they're gonna be like a 7-8 seed, and they're gonna be nice.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're gonna be sneaky
I saw
good.
something about like what's his name? The dude on the Pelicans.
Zion.
Zion. He's like the longest tenured Pelican now.
Yeah, he's the vet now. I saw that too. He
got drafted last year, and now he's the longest tenured Pelican.
But hey, maybe that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a great thing. I don't know. We'll see, because he's still
like
got
the Pelicans
veterans.
are trying to build a nice team, though. I mean, Steven Adams, he's a great player to add.
They're gonna be fighting teams like Phoenix and stuff like that for playoff positions at the end there.
Mm-hmm. And Nez Canner went to the Trailblazers, so I mean the Trailblazers get a nice big man as well.
Hey,
and I mean, and Carmelo re-signed as well, so Carmelo's staying.
Another team that's gonna be at the end of the season fighting for playoff spots, like whether it be 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's a team that's in contention every year that has the possibility to go to the finals.
Right. I just think the top couple spots are so locked up. It's gonna be teams like LA. So you got 2 right there. You got Denver, Utah. You got 2 more right there. So like that's already 4 seeds. Then when you're talking about Phoenix, Portland, we didn't even throw Golden State in there yet, so we're at 7. So the West is tough. The West is going to be tough. We didn't have Houston in there either. We don't know what they're going to do. Yeah. So it's that 6, 7, 8 is, and like I said, 9. Even though 9 misses the playoffs, that is going to be crazy. That like little fight for that is going to be nice.
Yeah, definitely agree, man. And the other one I have here is Darian Fox. He signed a 5-year deal.
De'Aaron Fox, yeah.
De'Aaron Fox, yeah.
With Sacramento, he's staying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And as far as the Bogdan Bogdanovic, that kind of looked like it got axed as well. They said
apparently there's a rumor that he's going to do a sign and trade for the Lakers.
What?
I saw this floating around today, and I'm like, interesting. It's just a rumor. That did not happen or anything. It's just a rumor. I was going to say,
I didn't see anything about that.
No, it was just a rumor. I was like, interesting. But nothing happened there. But we'll see what happens.
You're like Alex talking about the Nets. You're getting everybody.
They signed Wesley Matthews. They signed Montrezl Harrell, 6th man of the year last year.
Yeah.
And like
Schroeder, who was the runner-up for 6th man of the year.
Schroeder was the runner-up. So it's nice. It's looking nice. And I know Wesley Matthews. He was talking about it was an easy decision for him because they told him he could start. Like he's going to be starting with us. So I know he's going to be part of the starting lineup. Yeah. And then I like the Marcus Gasol pickup, man, too. They also re-signed KCP and Markieff Morris. So
I saw that.
Still got Kuzma, still got Caruso, released Quinn. The roster's shaping up. AD didn't sign with us yet, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Obviously,
probably working on contract eats.
It's like 99% chance he's going to sign with the Lakers, but like the fact that he didn't sign with us yet still got me a little weary. So we'll see what happens. But
want to come to Chicago?
But that's pretty much all the free agency news that's happened in the past week here. Definitely catch up on.
That's all the NBA news that really happened. Right. I know the preseason starts here in the next couple weeks, which is gonna be nice.
Yep. I'm
excited to see like the Bulls prospects that they drafted. The next thing we have here is the college football power rankings here. They have the top 4.
They just released the first playoff rankings, and they have Alabama number 1. They got Notre Dame number 2, Clemson at 3, and Ohio State at 4. I
don't understand that, but okay.
Yeah, I think Ohio State should be 3, and Clemson should be 4. How's
Clemson gonna lose the Notre Dame, but gonna be ahead of the undefeated Ohio State? It doesn't make any sense.
Especially with the year that Justin Fields is having. I know he threw 3 picks last game, but that was the first pick he threw all season so far. I got his stats show here.
I just want to see Alabama versus Ohio State.
He's played 4 games. Okay. He's got 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 3 picks, which he just had, in that last game, which it's just I think he is a pick for Heisman this year. I mean that didn't really help his case there, those 3 picks, but how many games we got left? I think 3. I would have to look at the schedule. 3, 4,
Yeah.
like as far as what we got left. I think he could be a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, man.
Yeah.
I know Mac
he's
Jones is
been
balling too.
like crazy the past couple of years.
Right.
Justin Fields, hopefully he gets drafted someplace and does nice.
They got BYU is also undefeated, okay, and they are at 14. They have them all the way down at 14. They have Georgia at 9 as a 2-loss team.
That's wild.
So like it's just based off of strength of schedule. But they were talking about BYU scheduling a game with Cincinnati because they were talking about they both have a bye week or something like that. So they just need more chances to prove themselves, more or less, for them to get more votes. So we'll see what happens there. I just wanted to go over that a little bit. We can talk every week, see what shifts there are as far as the rankings go.
Yeah, so they're like, cause I've been kind of trying to get into college football a little bit more each year. I mean, this year has been kind of iffy for me since it's so out of whack.
Yeah, it is crazy.
So I mean, it's so hard to see kind of like how the rankings are and how they judge them. It's so weird.
Right.
So I know you're a little bit more, you know a lot more about it than I do going into that.
Yeah, it's just been such a weird year for that, you know.
Yeah.
But like just wanted to hit on that real quick. We'll definitely follow up on that every week and let you guys know what the rankings are at.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, we'll get into the last couple segments that we usually do of the show. Our bias bubbles here. You go ahead, Vern. I know you had a lot planned, so we'll let you talk about it.
We did talk about a lot here, but I'm pretty excited about all the free agency signings that the Lakers are having right now. It's looking nice. The trade for Schroeder, they're trying to build depth. They're trying to improve on the blueprint for last year, and it's going to be great. I think Danny Green, even though he missed a lot of shots, he is going to be missed. But with Harrell and what's his name, Schroeder coming in, I think the combination of him and Schroeder could be better than Danny Green and Rondo was. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm real excited, and then obviously I don't think they're done necessarily. There's still some things to do, but we'll see what happens as far as the Lakers go. I've been following LeBron on his IG, and he's just like he's working out. He's ready. He's already ready, man. I can't wait to see this next season. It's just very, very hype for the Lakers. And then
man.
As far as the Patriots, pretty much hit on a lot of that. Cam isn't doing terrible, but the defense can't seem to hang in the big moments, like at the end of the game or when we really need them. It's looking kind of stagnant. I really hope they turn around against Arizona, but I'm not necessarily expecting much. I'm just kind of like wading through the games right now.
Yeah.
Just looking for bright spots.
I'm probably going to keep asking you each week, do you think Cam's going to be here on the squad after the season? You think he's going to be there next year?
The meter's ticking down. That's not his fault at all because he's playing fine. I just don't know if he'll be the quarterback that we want for what we have going forward.
Maybe Belichick experimented with this type of QB, and he's like, maybe this isn't the type that kind of fits my style.
Maybe it is a transition into a different, because he does want to get into what the league's doing nowadays.
He's just trying to figure it out. Or something.
Exactly. This isn't the guy. So maybe another 2 year, maybe he signs a 2-year deal or something like. But like,
give us like a second round pick, we'll give you Jalen Hurts.
No.
That'll be your dude.
We'll give you this dude here.
Shit, I'll take him.
A first round pick.
I don't know about all that.
But
we ain't in the business of handing out first rounders.
Bird had 6 catches for 132, man. Every week we got a different young wide receiver balling. That's nice to see. Jacoby Myers 2 weeks ago. Bird this week, man. It was nice to see. I was really happy about that. But a real a bummer was Burkett is going to be out for the season with the knee injury.
I saw that.
Carted off the field. But like Cam was spreading the ball around. We had 8 different receivers. So 8 different people catching the ball. So it's nice to see the offense starting to do better. It's just defense. Please, come on, defense. Just give us it. It's just tough to watch. It's tough to watch.
I
sometimes.
agree.
Got Arizona coming in next week, so see how that goes. It's a home game.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I mean, unfortunately, I wish I had that issue because mine's the opposite. I feel like our defense is all right. I wish our offense wasn't the issue. I would rather have our defense be the issue than our offense be the issue.
I understand
Much
that.
rather. I would rather see us be able to put up points and possibly just lose because of a defensive bullshit, because then it's not on the offense. It's not on Carson.
Frustrating. Your defense is doing everything they can.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point, it's not even like, last year the argument was injuries and Carson doesn't have weapons. This year, even though there is some injuries, Carson has weapons. Carson's got Miles Sanders. He's got Boston Scott. He's got Fulgham. He's got Rager. He's got what's his name? John Hightower. Alshon Jeffrey's back. Take that what you will. But I mean,
but still,
the weapons are there. O-line is terrible. So I mean, I give him that. He's had 40 sacks on the season, which is the worst out of anybody.
So many.
But still, even whenever you're not getting sacked, you're just making bad decisions. And I mean, and I've said this numerous times on Twitter, the QB is only as good as the coaching is. And I mean, so I mean, Wentz is bad. He makes bad decisions. I'm not putting all the blame on Carson because they're allowing him to do this without correcting it in practice. It seems like they're just like kind of guide him and let him kind of make his own decisions in a way. I did see a stat. I don't have it actually. About the Eagles are significantly better when Carson is calling the plays than when Doug is calling the plays. So, I mean, I've mentioned that before on here. Whenever they're doing like the hurry up offense and an up tempo, it seems like they kind of get in a more of a rhythm whenever Carson's kind of calling the shots.
It's smoother.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Doug is just kind of a control freak. He wants things done his way. He wants the game plan to be his way. He wants to call the shots. And unfortunately, it might be gone here after this year because what happened to it? I thought I had it reported. There is a report I have here. I have to find it. Yes. According to Adam Kaplan, who's a well-respected insider, Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, could make changes if things don't get turned around soon in the Eagles organization. Quote, it was after the Dallas game that Lurie let the coaches know what he thought of the offense, and I know for a fact the owner is not happy. I believe if they don't make the playoffs, then we could have Armageddon in January.
Oh, man.
So heads
Take that for what you
and it's already been a couple weeks since the Dallas game, and it hasn't gotten any better. So take that for what you will. Shit's going to be changing. Dark days are ahead for the Eagles organization. I've kind of touched on it before in the podcast. People are going to be gone after this year. Not even just coaching. Alshon, Deshaun, probably Ertz, a lot of big names. I'm actually kind of thinking that they're going to trade Fletcher Cox after this season.
Get your value.
Get the value, and he has, other than Carson, he has the highest contract on this team.
Yeah.
And with the cap hit that's coming.
Well, then more or less unload that contract.
Exactly. I think with the cap hits coming, I think they're going to trade him because, I mean, Fletcher Cox is Fletcher Cox, but he hasn't really been performing up to standards the past couple years. He's been consistent, but he hasn't been like a breakout star every year. So, I mean, a lot of things are going to be changing. And I mean, I'm nervous, but on the other hand, I'm excited because hopefully the change is for the better. And I'm glad kind of Lurie is kind of getting under it now instead of waiting.
He's not just content with this,
He saw what Chip Kelly did in a couple years. He's like, this isn't happening again. I don't know if they're going to fire Doug, because, I mean, he did win a Super Bowl. He still has that, couple years.
Right.
They're going to give him.
It's only been 3 years.
I think he's definitely losing play calling capabilities. I think Howie Roseman's probably going to be fired or demoted. Jim Schwartz is definitely gone. I think Jim Schwartz is definitely gone. On the other hand, I did have some stats, of course. Miles Sanders and Derek Henry are the only NFL players with 3 or more 60-plus yard rushes since 2019.
Okay.
Derrick Henry has 239 more carries as Miles Sanders.
Damn. Oh my God.
So that's even crazier.
Miles Sanders has always been like a mini Saquon.
Bro, Miles Sanders could easily have had like 130 yards rushing the past 2 weeks. Like,
give the man the ball.
Give the man the damn ball. He had 60 yards in the first half against the Browns again, and you stop rushing him. Like, I don't understand it, dude. Like, we could have been rushing. It was pouring
That's
down
what
rain.
I'm saying about the Patriots, man. Like, what?
What are you
I know
waiting
Cam
for?
balled, but like, run the ball. Run the ball.
I don't know if you just don't want people to get hurt, but I mean, like, Miles should be having career games at this point. Like, he could be up there with like the top running backs, and maybe that could be it too. Maybe they want to keep his value down a little bit by not fucking
conspiracy.
Maybe, hey man, you're not getting this many yards, such and such. I mean, why would we pay you this amount of money? We can't pay you that much money.
Right.
The other one I have here is Carson Wentz is on pace to take 64 sacks because he's had 40 in 10 games. That would be the fourth most in a season all time, next to David Carr, Randall Cunningham, and David Carr again in 2005. David Carr in 2002 had 76.
Oh
Cunningham,
my God.
Cunningham in 86 had 72. In 2005, David Carr once again had 68.
That man took a lot of hits.
Yeah. Let's see here. And I mean, and this is kind of, I'm bringing facts to kind of also, I mean, I'm kind of pointing out Wentz's faults, but I mean, this is kind of against with my argument a little. Wentz had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in 2017. He also had 48 touchdowns and 14 interceptions throughout 2018 and 19. That's 81 touchdowns and 21 interceptions in 3 seasons, which is pretty great for a franchise QB. That's a good QB. He has a 4-1 touchdown ratio, interception ratio. And he's just having a bad season. I mean, everybody's so quick to say bench Carson or you need to trade Carson. He's a terrible QB. I mean, he's playing terrible now, but that doesn't mean necessarily he's a terrible QB. You know, I mean, I know he has the potential.
Fixable. Like, I know it is like year 5, but like, it's not like I think it's a scheme thing. Like you're saying,
exactly.
Like, I think once it all gets fixed on the playmaking side of things, it'll all work itself out. And I think that's what Doug's waiting for.
It's fixable now. If this keeps going, it's not going to be fixable.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad Laurie's getting under it now, because he knows if this continues, they're gonna waste Wentz's talent. Right. And like I said before, they're gonna end up trading him, or he's gonna leave, and he's gonna be phenomenal somewhere else where they're gonna utilize him. Like the Colts. Watch Frank Reich scoop him up when the Colts when Phillip Rivers leaves, and he's gonna ball the fuck out.
Balls.
And the next thing isn't necessarily Eagles. This is just a kind of the thing I brought up. It's the win-loss ratio for a lot of the young QBs. I mean, it has a lot of QBs on here, so I figured I would kind of go over. It's a lot of the QBs that are probably going to be sticking around here over the next 10 years that we're going to be seeing a lot
generation.
More. This generation that's coming up. Derek Carr is 45 of 59 as of right now. Dak Prescott is 43 of 29. Not bad.
Okay.
He hasn't not done much, but he's not bad. Jared Goff is 41 of 26. So he's a little worse than Dak, but it's still really good.
He's already been to a Super Bowl.
Patty Mahomes is 37 and 9. Dude hasn't even lost 10 games in his career yet. Won an MVP and a Super Bowl.
Ridiculous. He is the next great.
That could be the crazy sports stat of the podcast if we wanted.
It could be, honestly. I actually don't have one today, so
I got one.
Use that. Okay.
But Carson Wentz, he has not a great record, but it's positive. It's 35 and 31. Okay. It's been sliding down a little bit, and one tie. So 35, 31 and 1. Let me see here. Deshaun Watson is 28 and 22, which is not great, about on pace as Wentz a little bit.
Yeah. A little worse than I thought it was, but I mean, I guess he has been on the Texans.
Yeah. Jameis Winston is 28 and 42.
Oh.
Mitchell Trubisky is 26 and 19, believe it or not.
Oh, positive.
Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo is 26-9.
Yeah, I know he
doesn't
barely
have 10
loses,
wins.
man. He barely
Um,
loses.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson here, he's 25-9.
Okay.
So he hasn't had 10 wins really. Maybe last night. Or this loss, that might have been the 10th one because I don't think this one's updated. Let me see here. Teddy Bridgewater's 25-20. Josh Allen's 22-16. So I mean, he's been balling. And Baker Mayfield is 19-20. He's probably 20-20 now with the win against Philly.
That's about where I would expect him to be.
Yeah, so that's all the ones I have here on that list. So I mean,
very interesting.
A lot of positive records. There's some below. I mean, most of them are positive though.
The future is bright for the NFL as far as quarterbacks. Bright,
as long as they take care and play to the QB strengths, which please, I don't care what you guys got to do. Fix my boy Carson.
Snapped legs. Stop snapping legs.
I love this dude too much to give up on Carson Wentz. I put so much stock in this dude. I feel like he has the potential. I'm not giving up on him until I have to, until it's at the point where I'm like, this dude's just all right. He's not gonna fix it. It's not gonna happen. I
understand, man.
But that's my dude. He's under contract for all this money. We gotta roll with him.
Stick with him.
I can't say bench him. How's he gonna learn if you bench him?
Gotta stick with him.
But yeah, I mean that's all I got though. Other than there's not much on the Bulls. Just rumors. I think they're trying to get Kemba Walker still. Okay. They're apparently Spencer Dinwiddie might be coming from the Nets. It's not a trade. Apparently he had just like he could opt out of his deal and sign with us.
Okay.
We did drop him in 20. I think we had him in 2016, and we let him go, and then he went to the Nets and kind of blossomed a little bit.
Right.
He has been practicing with our rookie that we just drafted recently, though, and apparently he says that he has no ceiling, which is pretty exciting.
Okay.
so
we'll see what happens there.
Speculation because he's been playing with some of the Bulls players recently,
right?
Possibly getting signed. So I mean that would be kind of cool bringing a vet into the team. So possibly the new management might bring some players in, which is nice. They're kind of building a nice solid foundation that I like. Hopefully the coaching that's just all to see how the coaching is and how the team does.
Planning for the future at this point, trying to make sure, like you said, that the foundation is there for them to be successful.
And maybe, and then next year with the huge free agency, maybe fucking try to sign a huge free agent next year, next off season, because there's going to be a bunch of them.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's all I got. So I mean, this has been a pretty big filled podcast, so we'll just kind of wrap it up here with the crazy sports stat of the podcast. The one I have here, it's the last it's not the last one of football. It is a crazy stat. Is Jerome Bettis from the Steelers? Since the Steelers are undefeated right now, might as well give a crazy Steelers stat.
Respect.
Jerome Bettis' stat line for his game against the Raiders, oddly enough, September 12th, 2004, he had 5 rushing attempts, 1 yard, 3 touchdowns.
Oh my God. So they just kept giving him the ball at the goal line.
I guess so, yeah. He has 5 attempts for 1 yard and 3 touchdowns.
And I could see 2 of those attempts he got pushed back 2 yards. So you know what I mean? So he that's crazy. That's like a classic Randy Moss stat line, you know what I mean? That's wild.
Yeah. What was that one with Randy Moss? Didn't he have 2 or 3
catches? 3 catches, 170 and 3 touchdowns, something like that.
Outrageous.
Ridiculous. But that's crazy, man. I didn't know that.
I saw that and I was like, I have to share that on the podcast.
Alex probably appreciate that.
He will. Hopefully he watches this podcast long enough. He makes it to the end to see this.
I'll tell him to skip to the end so he can watch this.
But yeah, we had a really good podcast. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Special thanks again to your boy Q for joining us here. Go follow him on Twitter at your boy Q254 for all the Raiders information that you need, and check out the Raiders Locked On podcast and more for his insight. Also check out Squad Pod Sports on Twitter. Check out Squad Pod Podcast every Friday. Check us out every Thursday.
Hit the like. Jays.
check out the Journey with the Jays and all their shows.
They have a bunch of great shows over there, man. Check out all the different links off of there, man. Exactly. Glad to be part of that.
They're putting out so much content each week. So I mean, all your sports need are covered with all of our shows within this network, and it's great to be partnered with them. So I mean, other than that, like and subscribe. Always hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. See ya.